Welcome to Podadelphia. My name is Dave DiOrio. You can find me on Twitter at @fat_lobster. And I am joined by two injured Brandons. Just kidding. I only have one. What's up, Sarah? How are you today?
I'm well. I'm better than a couple Phillies and a couple Eagles. The Phillies too. Let's throw them in. Everybody's disappointing this week. My name is Sarah Siders. You can find me on Twitter at Sarah Siders. You can find the show at Podadelphia.
Yeah, it was a bad week to be named Brandon on the on the Eagles. Where do we start today? We have a lot of topics, but one was super timely today. Should we start there?
Sure. Yeah. Let's please do.
I want to show you something. Hold on. I have this, which is one of my children's sports jerseys, and it is a Ben Simmons children's Sixers jersey. Now, I will say that to get to this jersey, in my son's drawer, I had to move over the Allen Iverson jersey, the Charles Barkley jersey, the Joel Embiid jersey, the Bryce Harper jersey, the JT Realmuto jersey, and the Reese Hoskins jersey. This jersey, the only reason it's still in my house is for demonstrative purposes on this show right now, because there is no way in hell I would let my child wear a jersey with the last name of Simmons on it ever again.
Why would you? It's the way the dude is leaving town is just invalidating his whole time here. All right, he wanted to trade. We knew that. We knew this was coming, right? So fine, he didn't play well here. He does the mature thing and goes, I'm leaving town. And he's demanding a trade and tanking his trade value. It's one thing to want out. It's one thing to want a new start. Fine, whatever. But you came up small here. You did. There were a lot of people who defended you, and I think that's where a lot of the vitriol comes from, is that we gave the dude time. We gave him support, and he wants out. And not only does he want out, he's going to tank his trade value on the way out. And that's unforgivable. It's any goodwill I had for him is gone. I want him out. I want to see him fail. I want to see him fail spectacularly. Maybe on the Sixers court, that would be lovely, because we've certainly seen that enough, haven't we? But
totally,
yeah,
totally. And the whole sabotaging your own trade value, not only is it tacky, I just don't even understand it as a strategic move. Like, if you really want to be traded, you should be doing things to make yourself, I don't know, tradable.
Yeah.
Instead, you're making teams. I get what you're doing. You're like, okay, I want to stick it to the Sixers because they threw me out. They wanted to trade me last season. They threw me under the bus after this loss. I don't like the way that went down. I get it. You want to stick it to the Sixers, but ultimately your goal is to get out. Now the Sixers, their only play at this point is to not trade Ben, because he's made his value so low that it's more valuable to just hang on and hope either there's a battle of wills and Ben blinks first, or a team comes along and just says, like, okay, yes, here's your Godfather offer that you've been waiting for. Otherwise, I mean, you're going to fine him every day, and you're just going to sit, and ultimately it's not going to cost you as much as it normally would have. Ah, look who joins the party. Hello, Gene.
Hello.
You can find him on Twitter at Producer Gene. You can find the show at Podadelphia.
We said 9:20, right? 9:20, just like always.
False.
Gene's falling back 5 minutes. Which, although the season's changing, the clocks aren't. Well, Gene, before you jump in, I want to badmouth Ben Simmons some more. So,
go for
Floor
it.
is yours.
so the Sixers have to prove that they won't trade him for nothing. So Ben Simmons has forced the Sixers' hand. They have to at least act like they're going to keep him. If the Sixers say, screw this guy, yeah, we'll take, pennies on the dollar. Well, nobody wins. Maybe Ben wins. I don't know. I don't know if you want to go to a team that's bargain basement shopping. That might not be a great sign. But the Sixers have to show that they are willing to hold on to him. They have to channel the bitterness of Bobby Clark and Ed Snyder with Lindros and go, you'll sit for the whole year. Like we'll get you a wonderful, we will deliver a top end recliner to your home and we will fine you from home, but they have to show a stubbornness, a vindictiveness. I think I might be the right girl for this job. Sixers, call me. There's one thing I do well, and it is spite, but go for it. No, you have to prove that you're not going to give him away for nothing.
Yeah, the ideal situation for Ben is something like, I don't know, the Warriors trade a 1 to the Sixers for Ben Simmons, which would be a terrible 1 anyway, and they don't care. And Ben goes to an immediate contender that didn't have to dismantle any of its core to acquire him. So that's Ben's ideal situation. Diminish your trade value to a point where the team acquiring me doesn't have to give up much of its core or winning potential to acquire me, because you're not getting much winning potential when you're adding Ben. Or he's not going to be like a key piece. He's not a Batman. He's not a Robin. He's not an Oracle. I don't know what he is. Like, how far down the
Damn
Batman?
Straight, he's not a Oracle. Oracle's
how far
like
down the Batman pantheon. Do we have like Bat Kid or something? Like, I don't.
Batmite.
Was that a thing?
Oh yes, it's a thing.
Was that Batman's like grandson or something?
No. It was like the Batman version of that little green guy from the Flintstones.
Gazoo?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like Batman's version of the Great
Gazoo,
Gazoo.
right? It was
Yeah,
Gazoo.
it's like that. Yeah. He was sort of a mischievous sprite.
Oh man, look at that little Batman lore. A couple days late for Batman.
See, I was thinking that Ben Simmons is acting a little bit like Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, go ahead, explain.
Well, because his shot is very, very cold.
Mr. Freeze has ice in his veins, and we know for certain that Ben Simmons does not have that.
Yeah, I think I tweeted today. It was like, we begged you to take, like, when he came into the league, it was like, please, if just shoot a 3, like, please just shoot a couple threes a game, and then it was, please just take a jumper, like a mid-range jumper would be great, and then it was, please free throws. Can you work on the free throws at least? And then it's, please, oh man, can you make an open dunk? Like with no one there, like just dunk it. Can you do that? And now all of a sudden, because of those expectations, Rich Paul and Clutch Sports are like painting us as the villains of the NBA. Like, imagine for a second, you asked a number 1 overall draft pick in the NBA to shoot the fucking basketball. Like, imagine that for 1 second, that made sense in your mind.
Yeah, and we don't want to infantilize, Ben saying like, oh, he's not up to it or whatever. But Dave, when you were giving those examples, the one thing that occurred to me was like begging my son to eat his dinner. It's like, you have to eat this much chicken and you have to at least try the vegetables. Like, and it's the same exact frustration with Ben. It's like, please take a 3. Take a 3. If you take a 3, you can play defense all day. Okay. You want to go slam the ball? You can slam the ball, but you gotta throw a 3 first. Ben, like, we are sick of this. Our patience is running thin. Ben needs a timeout.
But I don't want them to just give in and do what Ben and Rich Paul ultimately want them to do, which is trade them to the Warriors for a 1 or something ridiculous like that. I mean, at this point, you might as well let them sit. I mean, you're not going to get the value that you need to make it even worth the trade. So in my mind, this strategy just doesn't make sense, and it's kind of going to blow up in their face because I think the Sixers are prepared to just let them sit.
I think that that's what they're banking on, is that the Sixers feel like if we don't capitalize on this window that we're in with Joel Embiid, and they feel like the Sixers are sort of non-competitive without a complementary star to Joel Embiid. This is where I differ, because I think, or differ, not defer, differ. I think that the Sixers still are going to be a very talented basketball team, even if they just come back with how they are constructed. I think that Tobias Harris showed last year that he can hold up, like an 18-point average pretty consistently. He's able to maintain a fairly stout 3-point average. I think that they could acquire a couple of role players that could. I mean, I think Joel Embiid is that good, that dominant, that if you put the right pieces around him, and since you won't be trying to cater to Ben Simmons' style of play, and you can just double down on how can we just make Joel Embiid the best, then, you get a bunch of guys that can just chuck threes, and you just, I mean, I know JJ Redick's retired now, but, there's guys that sort of do what he does. Go and find them. And it's going to, I guess my only concern is like, what are you doing with that? I mean, Ben Simmons is a lot of dead money. And if you're going to not play him, you are handcuffed by the fact that you have all of this dead money. That sort of is problematic because you're only talking about a very limited roster. It's not like football where you've got 53 people. But this is not the way. I think this is how they think the NBA is, and that when stars just say, I want to be traded, that's just how it works now. But I think with certain guys, it has worked because I think that other teams want them that much. Like when James Harden said, I want to be traded and I will not play till I am, a lot of other teams were like not going to start dropping their offers because they thought that Houston was desperate. Maybe they did a little, but there are still teams that were putting up very competitive offers for Harden. I don't know that teams now are going to do that for Ben Simmons.
Yeah, because he hasn't proved it. What has he proved? Gene, you say other stars, and I'm like, Ben's a big name, and I don't mean to be completely dismissive of his game, but it's, he won a Defensive Player of the Year, didn't get it, but he hasn't proven it. He hasn't shown, hey, climb on my back. I'll carry you to the playoffs. It's, hey, climb on my back. It's an easy way to climb on Embiid's back. You climb on my back, and together we'll climb on Embiid's back. It's so incredibly frustrating. But Gene, you bring up very good points about that dead cap space. That could force the Sixers' hand more than anything Ben would do.
I mean, we gave him the max contract with the idea that he was going to be here for a long time.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know how that money works if he doesn't play.
Well, I mean, I guess they get some of it back because of the fines, but I mean, not against the cap.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to help us this season.
Yeah, I mean, it just means that you can't go and get that complimentary star that that I guess that they're banking on, that they feel like the Sixers are going to need. But the real problem is sort of like the initial point was by sort of making this move, you're not providing the Sixers with the leverage that they need. A happy Ben Simmons who's ready to come in and play for the season and is sort of in a way auditioning maybe. The Sixers and Ben
you get a lot more value out of that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Sixers and Ben Simmons ultimately want the same thing, which is to not be together anymore. But they should be having a much more
Right,
amicable
and that's
divorce.
my point. The fastest way for them to get apart is for them to come together. Ironically enough.
Yeah, I mean, if they come out and win like 12 of their first 18 games, and look, Ben looks good doing it and shows off a couple of new tricks, I think that there's teams that are going to be like, oh yeah, no, I think we want that guy.
Right, but Ben doesn't. Ben, I don't know what he wants. And so, did you hear about this other nonsense? This guy Jason Dumas.
Or is that a fancy way of saying dumbass?
It's funny because I was talking about this guy today, and I remembered that that commercial. It was like a A&W root beer commercial.
Yeah,
where it was like I can't wait to work for Dumbass and Dumbass. Like I'll be a great asset for. When can I get started, Mr. Dumbass? It's Dumas. Anyway, he tweeted, Ben is well aware of how the majority of Sixers fans feel about him. There are several organized groups planning to go boo him in Camden the day camp opens. He wants no part of that.
There are several organized groups. Did you get your invite? I didn't get my invite to the Boo Ben party.
No, and I definitely would have been invited to that.
I'm definitely on that mailing list.
Yeah, we really should be. I mean, we should co-promote it.
Who do you think the organized groups, like if this was even remotely true?
I want to be like, tell me all about them. Tell me all about these Boo Ben groups.
Yeah, Cataldi would definitely be involved in some capacity. The WIP morning show for sure. Like what's another like organized? But is that an organized group? Like the Lions Club of like what? I just don't understand who this is. Like the Fandemic crew. Are they going down? They may be more organized than anybody else.
I've sat with those guys. They're very organized.
We have the Freemasons coming out, and they know how to lay bricks, so they and Ben have a lot of things in common.
That's cold. Yeah, it's just all nonsense playing off of Philadelphia's a bad fan base narrative to drum up sympathy for a first overall pick basketball player that won't shoot the ball.
That's the thing that's always surprised me.
I really hate to say this, but all the old timers, they were right all along.
Yeah, it's annoying.
They were every step of the way. The process was a bust. It didn't work. You got Embiid because he sort of fell into our laps. Like it wasn't even the process really. It was just his injury. We didn't do so hot in the lottery the way we thought we were going to.
What do you mean we didn't do so hot? We have 2 number 1 picks. We just whiffed.
Oh, we whiffed
horribly.
We whiffed on both. We whiffed on the number 2 pick with Okafor. I mean, we're our own worst enemy.
Nerlens Noel was a better player than Okafor.
What's that?
Nerlens Noel is a better NBA player than Okafor.
So it was total failure. Ben is a failure.
Because this is what we were trying to avoid. We were trying to avoid being a team that was going to be a perennial mid-level seed that was just going to go 2 rounds and out for 4 years in a row. And then Embiid was going to retire.
I mean, all of this stuff over the last, 9 months has just why am I even on a show? Like, why am I even doing a show? You could watch an episode of this show from 18 months ago, where I'm sitting here singing the praises of Ben Simmons, Carson Wentz, defending Sam Hinkie, and now here we are.
Yeah, it's a bad day to give people the benefit of the doubt, isn't it?
What happened to the Roaring 20s? Remember that was like a thing? It was like, Philadelphia sports renaissance. The Roaring 20s are coming. All the teams are going to finish their rebuilds at the same time.
Or they were going to go back into rebuilds at the same time.
What's that, Gene?
I said, or they were all going to go back into rebuilds at the same time.
Well, I think everyone finished their rebuild and to varying degrees of success, or I don't know. The Sixers did the epic tank trusting the process that netted us Embiid and a lot of cheap tickets for a lot of years. And, the Flyers did their rebuild on the fly, which, Hextall never pulled the trigger to complete it and ended up costing him his job. The Phillies, I mean, I guess if you want to call Bryce Harper a rebuild, we rebuilt.
Oh my God, the Phillies have scored a run against the worst team in baseball.
Oh my Lord! So we're tied with the worst team in baseball.
They locked it up at one apiece.
Oh, let's hope we can.
McCutchen drove in a run. So there's life.
I guess.
All right.
Is that a good transition to the Phillies?
Yes. No. Well, yeah. Before in other Sixers news, JJ Redick retires today. What is your memory of JJ Redick? Will he be missed in your households?
I'll let Gene go first on that.
Thoughts on JJ?
I liked a lot of things about the way JJ's game sort of complemented Joel Embiid. I don't love JJ Redick the personality, mostly because JJ Redick has a much different view of his self than I think that public perception is. I think JJ Redick thinks he's some sort of like media rock star and like influencer, and I just don't think that he carries the weight that JJ Redick like thinks that he carries. I think that if JJ Redick had like a dose of humility, maybe he ended up sort of being a mercenary for his career. He had some very good seasons, but what uniform are you going to remember JJ Redick in? Because I'll tell you what uniform I'll remember him in. It's Duke, and I hate Duke.
It's a Clipper uniform for me. I don't know. I guess this is where you remember him. I mean, like, look, I enjoyed his time in Philly. I guess it was 2 years. The whole comments after his time here about coming to Philly for the 1 year bag really kind of soured me, even though intellectually I knew it was true all along. But I just felt like, come on, man, you don't say it, dude. Be like that.
We don't say these things out loud. We keep those in our inner monologues.
Yeah,
because who benefits by saying stuff like that? Like, ooh, look at JJ Redick telling it how it is.
How cool are you?
Speaking truth to power. No, you just sound like an idiot.
And I think ultimately, like, let me course correct on that. I don't know that. Like, maybe he did come here for the 1 year bag. I think he enjoyed his time in Philadelphia, to be honest. Like, I actually do think he liked it here, but he never wanted to really admit that on a national level, which kind of also was like.
Well, because I think, again, this is like sort of to my point. JJ Redick feels like the brand is JJ Redick. Like he was sort of became the stereotypical like a mercenary. There was no sort of like I never felt like he was a guy that was like had to win. I think he wanted to win. I think he liked winning, but he never felt like a guy that like just had like a drive to win, which is why he ended up like playing for the Pelicans.
I just can't believe JJ Redick's hair and Dario Saric's hair were on the same team at the same time.
That's insane.
On the court together. Yeah. Sarah, you wanted to jump in there?
Sure. It's Redick just seemed like a one-trick pony, and he did that trick very well. He was a phenomenal shooter and just sort of bouncing around the league as like a kicker would. It's sort of like, hey, our team needs this asset. JJ Redick is currently the white guy who hits threes in the league. Let's bring him in for a year, and then the next team that needs somebody, a 3-point specialist, to pick them up. So I feel like the mercenary bit is part of his brand, and it really does take away from the idea of I'm here to establish a team. I'm here to win a championship with this team for Philadelphia, for yada, yada, yada. And, a lot of that stuff is sometimes a lot of that stuff is just talk, just saying things what people want to hear. But a lot of times there is loyalty. Embiid is a Philly guy. That is not a performance. He loves this city, and this city loves him. And he could pull a Ben. I really, really, really hope he doesn't. But if he pulls a Ben tomorrow, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be night and day difference. It's going to be, that's a shame. I really wish Embiid would stay. Man, okay, it'd be more animated than that's a shame, but it'd be night and day difference. And JJ just didn't have any attachment to the city, so it was hard to have an attachment to him.
Okay. Here's my transition. Compare and contrast the Ben Simmons situation to that of Carson Wentz. Is it more similar or not really the same thing at all?
Do I need to get my blue book ready? Like that is a wonderful essay question.
It really is. Compare and contrast.
Yeah. Give me a moment to think it over, but I would say the one thing Carson did, and I mean, if I have to speak well about Carson Wentz, the bar is low, but he wasn't so public in his trade demands. It was out there. There were rumblings, but it wasn't as explicit. It wasn't, I am not going to show up to camp. I have played my last game in an Eagles jersey. Or it was soft pedaled out there. It wasn't as screw you to the team as Ben's was.
Right.
Now,
and look what happened. He got traded.
Yeah, he got traded.
Because the Eagles were able to find some value with him if he had.
And I mean, it's possible that deal ends up being good for both teams. Like, very honestly, it could. If Carson Wentz ends up
the
being
Sixers
able to
and the Eagles.
No,
sure.
I meant the Eagles.
What's the other
Colts.
team?
Sure, it's going to go great for the Colts. Sure. But if Wentz went scorched earth and was like, I'm going to break my own rib. or I don't know. I will hold on to the ball to perpetuity. The Eagles might not have been able to move him, and then I don't know what would have happened. I don't know, but like he at least kept it civil, and he was able to get traded. Instead, we got the other thing was like at least Carson Wentz, when he was on the field, was actively trying to play football and win the game. I mean, it wasn't like, I don't pass. Listen, I could take the snap. I could scramble. I don't pass. It's like, please, Carson, we need you to throw one pass a game. It's like, no, I don't do that. That's not part of my game.
How about lateral?
I'm an excellent free safety.
Sure, I will pitch the ball. I will throw if it is behind the line of scrimmage.
No,
I will not complete a forward pass.
No, read my lips. No forward pass.
I don't know why this is the impression of Carson Wentz, but it is.
I did wonder about that, but I was gonna let it slide.
Okay. All right. Carson, 2 bum wheels. Hate to see it happen.
This season, yes, we do.
Yeah.
We wanted to.
I don't care.
I wanted him to be out there and be bad for the Colts every single week.
I know. He got intercepted on a shovel pass.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Got intercepted. Finds new and creative ways to turn the ball over every game. The whole 1 a game mantra is still going. Is still holding strong. And I'm happy that it wasn't just like an Eagles trip. I think that's the thing that is most. Like the largest part of the relief is because like we're always so afraid that a player is going to go somewhere else and then like realize their potential, like, oh my gosh, Vince Velasquez is with the Padres now and he's going to be dominant. It's like,
he's going to get a ring.
He's still Vince Velasquez and he still does Vinny Velo type of things. And Carson Wentz is with the Colts and he's still doing Carson Wentz type of things.
Getting picked off and getting hurt. Those are,
and holding the ball too long.
Those are the brands.
And getting injured against the Rams. That's like his thing.
Yes.
But I mean, our football team. One more thing about those comparisons, though. It's like, so 2 weeks without Carson Wentz, and I'm actually a happy football fan. Okay, we're 1-1. this week didn't go so hot, but I feel like it's drama free. We're going to talk about some plays. We're going to talk about some decisions. We're going to talk about where we need to get better and injuries and stuff. What we're not talking about is who's better, Carson Wentz or Nick Foles, or like when is Carson
that's the
going
first time
to
we've
adjust?
mentioned that name in a really long time. You know how we couldn't have gone a week last season without talking about a guy who was playing for the Bears. It was it was crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
It is night and day difference, Dave. Like you said, I don't know if it's the weight of expectations, the frustration being just so much lower to start. With Jalen's Hurts' young career, I don't know what it is exactly. I think a lot of all three of those things play into it. But it's just a lot more fun to watch the Eagles, even after a loss, even after a loss where the Eagles shot themselves in the foot repeatedly. It doesn't feel so frustrating. You know, I saw some people go, well, let's not call the loss to the 49ers a moral victory. And I'm not calling it a moral victory either, but there are good things in that game. There's a lot to walk away from that loss to go, hey, there's something here. This Eagles team might be better than I thought in the offseason. Actually, sorry, this Eagles team is better than I thought they would be in the offseason.
And I mean, you know, 17 points, the defense held. Like, that's something, you know, the Jimmy Johnson, you know, always used to say, you know, if I hold a team to 17, that's a win.
You should win the game.
Yeah, you should win that game. And we held the team to 17. There were some things that offensively, you know, we could have done a better job. Thanks, Andy. You know, when you make a 91-yard play, you expect
points.
Maybe get some points off of that. And you know, there was some missed opportunities. Like, I don't want to sit here and say we should have won that game,
but we could have. We could have
won the game for sure. And there's majority of football games, I feel like the losing team has an opportunity to say that. And they say, like, well, if we did this or we made this different decision or if the ball bounced this way, like, we could have won that game. I mean, that's how close the NFL is. Am I like bent out of shape about losing this game? Like, absolutely not. And actually the season's going according to plan so far. I thought we would win the Falcons game. I thought we would lose this game. I think we're going to lose next game. You know,
were you waiting for Gene to explode at the prospect of losing to the Cowboys?
Gene knows we're going to lose next week. He already knows it. Right, Gene?
I don't like to say things like that, but
it's Dallas week, baby.
My silence might be very telling. No, I want to say this is something I want to say. This game against the 49ers is the kind of game I feel like a rookie head coach has to have. You have to have a game that's sort of where the head, because I really do think that Sirianni could look himself in the mirror and be like, and as much as it is a cliche to hear a coach say it, I got to do a better job. In this particular case, I think that Sirianni really sort of, there are moments with a young head coach where you've got to start to realize when do you want to be influencing the game or do you want your players to be influencing the game? And I think that there were too many opportunities, both in week 1 and in week 2, but specifically against the 49ers, where Sirianni, with his decision-making, was trying to have it be more his influence, like intellectual influence, versus the athletic prowess of his players that influence the game. And
give me an example. What do you?
The two examples are: you make a 91-yard play and you don't get 3 points there. There had to have been a series of decisions.
So, was your questioning the going for it on fourth, or was the play call series? I mean, you start off with a delay or with a false start, obviously.
Right.
False start's the hallmark of this team so far, really.
Yeah, they really do need to sort of practice that, whatever that is. And I don't know if that's just that crowd noise in general is throwing teams across the league. It seems like there are a lot of false starts in every game that I watch, to the point where it's annoying because I hate I hate teams. I hate games that have too many penalties. It drives me bonkers. But I think more the idea was, I think Sirianni, for the minute that he got down, inside the 5, he was touchdown or bust in that drive, because there were a lot of things that happened, the false start, that should have been like, okay, I'm going to be comfortable getting 3 here. But it seemed like that entire sequence was never coached in a way that was, I am comfortable getting out of here with points. It was always, I am going to get a touchdown here or bust.
And at that point, we were winning 3-0, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But there was also a lot of time left, and a lot more time left in the half than I think that it was reasonable to feel like you were going to put them on the 1 yard line and they're not going to be able to move the ball. Because that was the counter argument is, well, if I don't get 3 here, at least I'm leaving San Francisco with 90 some yards to go. Well,
yeah, I get that. I do get that.
And I mean, but what I think is, I think Sirianni, those were his thinking, but like the one thing that he didn't consider was the conventional wisdom is, I need to have points here. This is a game where I am playing an opponent that is just waiting for an opportunity to exploit my weakness. And right now, I have done a good job of holding them under. I don't want to let them land a punch that's going to change momentum. And one thing that is a good way to change momentum is make a huge stand on the goal line where you prevent the other team from getting points. That changes the entire energy of a game. And if you've watched football long enough, you know this is true. So it's important there psychologically for your offense to walk away with points where you don't feel like you've been undercut, where running an offense in the NFL is not an easy thing. If you listen to quarterbacks talk, they constantly talk about pace and rhythm, because it's much like if you have a good band. If you don't have that pace and rhythm in a band performing music,
rhythm is gonna get you.
Exactly.
Rhythm is gonna get
you're going to
you.
sound like garbage.
Rhythm is gonna get you.
No. Garbage is a good band. I'm here to defend Shirley Manson.
You're going to sound like Rancid. How about that?
Oh, Gene, man, you're killing my '90s taste in music. But I know what you're getting
gonna sound like Dave singing. Is what you're gonna sound like, ultimately, because it doesn't get much worse than that.
These are the Daves I know.
Yeah. Okay. How about these injuries? So Brandon Graham done for the year.
Hate that.
Just massive loss.
Hate that. No,
And
I mean, the
he's
guy
been
not
like an
only is
Iron
like
Man.
it's still a player that is still performing at a high level, but the guy is maybe the heart and soul of the defense. I mean,
I was just
there is
thinking
not a
about
bigger
that today.
personality.
I'm like, Brandon Graham and Kelsey right now, I think, are the two like legend players. Like, you could wear their jersey forever as an Eagles fan, and people
And
would be like,
nobody's
yeah,
ever
like,
going
right
to do
on.
anything but give you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon Graham's jersey will never, ever go out of style.
Double nickels.
Yeah, no, it's a great jersey. It's a great number. He's a great player. He's a great guy to look up to. He's a wonderful interview. I literally have nothing bad to say about the guy. He's absolutely probably my favorite player currently on the defense. At least since Malcolm Jenkins left.
Achilles, right?
Yeah.
And
so
he'll never be the same.
No,
Cool.
I mean, that's how it works. He's just, and he was sort of already, there wasn't as much tread on the tire as you would like to see. Although he did have he had an up year last year, had a career year last year. But these kind of injuries for guys that size that do what they do, it's really hard to have that same lift. It's
sure,
just
Ryan Howard can give him plenty of advice.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a perfect.
Stay away from that slider down and away.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
So, what other injuries were there to talk about?
Well, Brandon Brooks is like a torn pec.
Yeah. At least that's not his legs.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, well, another year of Brandon Brooks with some kind of situation. And it's not like, you just come back ready to play as effective as you were when you went. I don't know. It's just not good. It's not good. And who's taking his spot? The Bama kid, right?
Yep. Was
So
he like
we'll
a
see.
third round
We'll
pick,
see.
fourth round pick,
We'll see. I think it's a second round pick.
second round pick?
We'll see how the Rook does. In between two vets, and hopefully, that line keeps playing at a high level. And on the defensive side, who's taking Brandon Graham's spot?
Well, you're going to see a lot more Josh Sweat, probably. You're going to see.
Gonna make you sweat.
Yeah, I think that the defensive line does have more depth than the offensive line. Obviously, I think the strength of the team is both lines, but
what
that
about
can go away real quick. We saw that last year.
What about what's his face from Tennessee?
What's his
That
face
guy
from
Barnett?
Tennessee?
Is that guy ever gonna play?
I don't know.
Is that guy ever gonna learn how to play football correctly?
He was a first round pick too, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I broke Reggie White's sack record.
Yeah, well, come break his
and
actual
I'm a bust in the NFL
Yeah.
because the Eagles drafted me.
That's one thing that was not a bust in the NFL was the Minister of Defense. We all know that. The thing to discuss here, though, is it is Dallas week, and although I am not as confident as I would like to be during Dallas week, I am excited to go into a game where I feel like I don't think my team is going to beat me in Dallas. If we're going to lose this week, and it's very likely that could happen, I think Dallas has got a very good offense. I'm not sure how we're going to – I just don't know how you cover all those guys. But I just don't think that I'm going to have to watch Carson Wentz embarrass me in Dallas. And just that fact makes me super excited to watch a Monday night game. I wish it wasn't Monday night game. I hate primetime games, especially when your team is not
the worst.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, not aces, but
they're the only way I get to see them, though. So thank God for this Monday night game.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. The only time I actually do sort of get jazzed, though, is, it is sort of nice to have Dallas and be the only game in town.
And
plus,
you
I'll get
all
to
are
see
really
some other
missing
guys
me.
on Sunday.
You all are really missing me in the Slack channel.
We absolutely are.
During football, you're really missing me in there.
I want to touch on Monday Night Football with the Cowboys. I'm a big convert to Sunday Night Football. I mean, it's been a while since Monday Night Football has been really the premier game, but there is something about it, like Gene says, to be in prime time, to be the only game going, to be this premier matchup and have it to be against this hated rival. That gets you excited. That gets you excited for, Monday night, you're up past your bedtime, at the start of the work week, and Sunday does not feel like the start of the work week. I'm really dumb on Sunday nights. Like, it does not feel like I'm going to have consequences the next morning. Even though I'm getting up, just before 5 a.m., no matter when, but it doesn't feel that way. Monday Night Football, Eagles, Dallas, in Dallas. The stage is set for something fun to happen. Now, you guys are letting me know I should not expect that, but if it does happen, if the Eagles punch them in the face, not literally, if the Eagles punch them in the face and really make a statement that game, there we can have a moral victory. I'd much prefer a regular victory, but a great effort, a consistent effort, and an effort that really shows the rest of the NFL this Eagles team might be a little bit real. And we're not the real deal. We're not Super Bowl contenders, but just enough to say, hey, pay attention to us. Jalen Hurts is the real deal. The Eagles do have weapons. The Eagles aren't to be looked over.
This is
Bryce
the kind
Harper
of game that...
doubled. Bryce Harper doubled in the bottom of the 8th, and he's on third base now with one out, and Real Muto's up.
Hey, that's what you love to see against the Orioles.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I just want to say that, as far as it's a battle of the head and the heart with the Eagles game this week. Intellectually, I feel like Dallas, the gambler side of me, I feel like Dallas would be a good bet. I wouldn't bet this game just because I don't bet Eagles games usually.
Well, let's do it. Let's do pick Podadelphia. What do you think? The Eagles are 3.5-point dogs in this game. What you doing, Gene? What's Riverboat Gene say about a 3.5-point spread?
I think that's saying take Dallas.
I think so.
And I hate that I have to say I'm just not ready yet with this Eagles. I will be the one that's hopping up and down off the couch. It's one of those things where when I feel this way, where I feel like sort of like, oh God, this is gonna be a real struggle. This is when I get most excited to beat Dallas. I do like the position where I feel like Dallas is the better team, and that's when I like to really kick them in the nuts. But this just feels like we just are a step behind. So the Riverboat Gene is going to say, take Dallas if you want to make money. But hey, my heart says, get real excited if the Eagles can get up 14-0 in the first quarter.
How about a prop bet, Gene? Do you think over under 1,000 yards for Amari Cooper on Monday night?
Over under 1,000? Under, but it's close.
Okay.
I'll tell you one other thing that worries me, and this is like forecasting out a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City loses this week to the Chargers. Certainly do not. All right, let me just put a disclaimer.
Wait, what?
Here. My advice should not be considered for any.
Wait, they just lost to the Ravens.
I know. I still think
you think they're going to lose two in a row?
Yeah, and then guess who they play after that?
The Eagles.
If Kansas City comes into Philadelphia after 2 losses, they may put up 40 before kickoff.
Oh my God.
That would be bad. We all need to be huge Kansas City Chiefs fans this week. As Eagles
Bryce
fans.
Harper just got thrown out at home.
Oh, that's not
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
I
was going to say, like, should we do 5 minutes on the Phillies? But I think this is going to be a long one. So let's just go right to the penalty box.
All right. So we'll start with Dave because I don't know who to go with. I've been promised lots of good stuff this week. So Dave, who is in your penalty box?
I haven't gone first in a while, so I'm not really.
Gotta stretch out.
Okay, I am going to put the Happy Mango into the penalty box. Are you familiar with Happy Mango? Neither was I until today. So Happy Mango makes think like Melissa and Doug-esque toys, like wooden, like environmentally conscious quality toys for children. Okay. And they make these like play sets, like, you want to grow up to be a doctor, and they'll give you like, you want to be a chef, and they give you like this stuff. So for $49.99, you can get the toy vlogger kit. Okay. And I'll read you the description here. A vlogger, video blogger, is one of the did you not know that, Gene? Oh, okay. A vlogger, video blogger, is one of the top career choices that many of today's kids aspire to be. Designed to encourage children to showcase their artistic talent, this playset encourages the practice of communication skills and creative thinking. The set comes with, and these are like all wooden things, by the way. The set comes with a camera, a light ring made of rubber, clip-on microphone with adapter, selfie stick tripod, and a bag is included for easy transportation.
Choice.
So if this is the kind of thing now that we want our children to pretend to aspire to be, and believe me, the irony is not lost on me talking about this on a video podcast. But I thought maybe I could take the liberty to suggest the Happy Mango what maybe their next imagination playset could be. So I thought they could do ticket reseller. and here's my description that I wrote for them.
I was gonna say, what do you have
so into these sort of like new age careers? A ticket broker is one of the top career choices that many of today's kids aspire to be. Designed to encourage children to showcase their entrepreneurial talent, this playset encourages the practice of sycophantic behavior and implementation of circumventive algorithms. The set comes with a laptop, burner phone, fake mustache, and a general self-loathing. A bag is included for easy transportation. So for that, I'm putting the Happy Fucking Mango in the penalty box.
Oh, wow. Happy Mango, you're getting a penalty for not taking Dave's suggestion if you don't. Bonus one, clickbait specialist.
Not bad.
The description is behind the paywall, so you gotta go find out what's happening there. But Happy Mango for perpetuating new careers that nobody, and we recognize the irony that no one should aspire to. You're getting a double minor for a $50 wooden set. You can buy a freaking computer for $100. The Happy Mango double minor, 2 minutes for a bunch of stuff.
See,
here's my caveat for this self-righteousness. This is not our career.
Well, that's true. If it were a career, if it were like one of those YouTube stars that they were striving to be like, we'd be millionaires. So if Podadelphia's listeners want to help make that happen, please do. We're open to suggestions and we're open to donations. On that shameless note, Gene, who is in your penalty box this evening?
Ironically, I mean, I had a lot of options, but mostly it would have been me because I had sort of a rough weekend.
You did.
So I think aside from putting myself in the penalty box, which I absolutely deserve at least 5 to 10 minutes, I think what I'm going to do is, and this has just been a source of frustration for me, is I'm going to put in TikTokers who inspire you to stay tuned for part 2 because they are unable to edit themselves to the minute format. In most cases, some of these people, you'll end up seeing parts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are the kinds of TikToks that I don't enjoy. I think that the art form of the TikTok is really succinct when you have people do like mashups, like where they take a classic by Queen and throw in underneath of Freddie Mercury's vocals, the Berries and Cream guy. That to me is chef kiss sort of good if you get it done right. What I don't need to hear is somebody describing something that they've done, get to the climax of said story, and then say, follow for part 2. Much like your clickbaity friend, the whole point of the art form is for me to watch 1 minute of something and then go on to the next thing. I do not want long form programming on TikTok. I do not want to be boondoggled underneath 25 minutes to hear one story by one creator. If you want to do that, if you want to tell 25-minute stories, talk to the people at StreamYard. They'd be happy to have you do something like we're doing right now. You've missed the point, TikTokers. You are the brain children. You are the genetic followers of the Vine. The Vine did not require monologues. It was not the art form. Get a hold of yourselves, TikTok. You can be great. Stop with the multi-part monologues. We already have that. We have that. Go and put that where it belongs. Keep TikToks where they belong.
All right, TikTokers who cannot keep to a minute, respect the art form, respect the medium, and go somewhere else. You are getting a 10-minute game misconduct, but it's going to be broken out in little 1-minute segments that you're just going to have to find the next link for.
Yeah,
TikTokers who don't...
for the whole penalty.
Yes, indeed. I didn't hear that, but we're just going to plow ahead. TikTokers, you're going in the penalty box. Do we not have a whistle tonight? Oh, Dave's muted. Dave is muted. There we go.
Who was in your penalty box tonight?
Not you. You escaped. I do have to just backtrack a moment to Gene when he said TikTokers as successors of the vine. That read as very Catholic mass to me. Like, like successors of the vine, work that human hands have made. That's neither here nor there. And
We're
I
showing
don't
our
want to
Catholic. We should probably shake that out a bit.
shake out the Catholicism. Believe me, I'm trying. But we're going to talk about people who are guilty and guilt-ridden, and I'm going to talk about Anthony Sanfilippo. Yes, we could not go this whole episode without talking about the most recent Anthony Sanfilippo occurrence to visit the penalty box. This is not his first time, but this is going to be the most severe. So for those of you who do not know, you're probably better off, but that's about to change. So the other day, I want to say it was Sunday evening, Samuel Moran, as reported by Anthony Sanfilippo, had suffered another debilitating leg injury, knee injury. And he felt really bad about the big guy being, set back in his career. And Anthony was the only one reporting this. He was not the only one hearing this. Russ Cohen, who I know from the Locked On Flyers podcast, he said on that very podcast that, yep, it's going around the press room that something is up with Sam Moran, but nobody could confirm it. Anthony Sanfilippo apparently could and said that he had sustained a substantial injury. The very next day, Riley Cote shares the text message exchange he had with Sam Moran, and Sam said nothing of the sort happened. Fast forward to today. On Tuesday, the Flyers say that Samuel Moran will be out 6 to 8 weeks after having a procedure done on his knee to remove debris, to remove, I forget the exact term, but the crap you get in your knees and people get scoped and removed. That's what happened. Schmutz. There we go. Mixing it up. Mixing up our cultures tonight. But you get the schmutz removed. And Anthony Sanfilippo is trying to take credit for this being accurate reporting. And it is not. A maintenance procedure is very different than an injury. A maintenance procedure at the beginning of the season, where it was probably a calculated decision to get it done now, is very different for yet another injury. You are borderline correct, but you are perpetuating the wrong idea. And this is not the first time he has done this. I am going so far to say he is no longer a reliable source. On this show, many times I've said, Anthony does not make up stuff whole cloth. There has got to be something there. I have said that he's been irresponsible with information in the past, and now he is just too irresponsible to trust. And that really pains me, because when he was with the Delco Times, or I read him in the Delco Times, I forget where his home base was, but whatever. But when I read him in the Delco Times, he was a good reporter. He was my favorite Flyers read. But that, and Gene just could not take the Anthony Sanfilippo indictments that Gene had to leave, but he has squandered all of that goodwill. And he's done it repeatedly. He has the Sam Moran exaggeration, the Tarasenko trade that never happened that he said was a done deal. The Kevin Hayes does not want to play in Philadelphia. The Nolan Patrick is on his way to Vegas. Yeah, he made it there eventually. And I might, don't hold me on that when I don't know how firmly he said it. But he certainly took credit when he was traded months later. And he's attempting to do again. He's going, I'm proved right. Well, let's see what happens in November. That's not an injury. And if you cannot be responsible with your words, if you cannot be responsible with the information you're putting out there, then I am not going to just blindly react to what he puts out there until it's confirmed by somebody else. So Anthony Sanfilippo, you're getting a 10-game suspension. Rehab your career, rehab your reputation, because you've ruined it. Like, not to put too fine a point on it, but you can't be the boy who cried trade rumor and keep getting away with it. So Anthony Sanfilippo, you're going to the box.
All right, that is all the time we have for today. We'll be back next Tuesday. I don't know. We may be eulogizing the Phillies.
I think we will.
We might, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll be wrapping up Dallas week. We'll be previewing week 4. And I mean, the Simmons saga is just going to continue. And when does Flyers camp open?
Thursday. Flyers
All
camp
right.
opens in 2 days.
So, yeah,
I talked about on Locked On Flyers. What'll be tomorrow's show, Wednesday's show, and I'll be back for Thursday's show as well. Hopefully to talk a little more about the upcoming camp.
Awesome. So we'll be back next Tuesday at 9:15. If you haven't done so already, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. Also, check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search Podadelphia. If you have any more time in your podcast listening day, be sure to check out the Whip Around for all the week's weird news. Be sure to follow and check out the Painted Lines on YouTube. For more Philly sports coverage. Also, check out the Philadelphia Sports Alliance on Facebook for a whole bunch of Philly sports content there. So until we see you again next Tuesday, have a great day at work, everybody. We are out of here.